time or a place without tobacco. And today I want to show you how to smoke it like the 18th century in the pipe or a cigar like a gentleman. But first we start with the ordinary pipe. Today I'm taking you with me to show exactly how to smoke a pipe. Could it be done with modern tools? Absolutely. We will use them? Not today. No matches, no lighter, only historical equipment. First, let's take a look what we need to smoke a pipe. Our foundation is the pipe himself. I have decided to take a wood pipe. There are different definitions of pipe that exist in the 18th century. There are clay pipes, corn pipes and different types of wood pipes. But for beginner, the wood pipe would be the easiest one. This is what I choose today. Then we need tobacco, and this is a typical tobacco we get today everywhere, and this is what I choose for this video. How the tobacco was back in the 18th century I will show in another video. But the really special thing on this is the tobacco box. This tobacco box came from the Hudson Bay Company. It's a big company that was in trading in the 18th century, and they have produced this box to trade. And the special thing, they have a burning glass on top, and when you're in the sun you can start your pipe also with this burning glass. Of course, then we need a pipe tool. These are reproductions of the 18th century, but I have decided to use this one. This is a very easy pipe tool. It is just a wood stick, and this is sharp on the one edge and very flat on the other edge, and we need both sides for smoking the pipe. And to starting the pipe, I have here my box with flint and steel, also charcoal, and with them I will start the pipe later. Now we prepare the tobacco. We make a little bit space on our place, and there are several different methods to fill up the pipe, and I show you the easiest way and very easy to learn. And this is a tobacco filling method with 3 amounts of tobacco, and we have a whole place here. The size here, I need to calculate how much is this. It's a little bit training, and divide it through 3, and then I have 3 parts of tobacco. And then we take the first third of the tobacco and just make it in the pipe like this. But you see, I don't push, I just put it inside. Then I take the second third, put this in the pipe and push it a little bit down, but not very heavy. And then I go again, take a third time amount this of tobacco and push it in the pipe. And now I can really make a little bit pressure on the tobacco, and then I have filled it up. If it's like this, I can also make a little bit more on top. This is fine, like this. And here I really can push it with strength a little bit. And now it's also don't fall out, you see this here, but in the same time it is very loose on the bottom. It go harder and more compressed on the top. And this is exactly what we want. Now the most important step by preparing the pipe, and some people miss this, and if you miss this, it can be that you can't smoke the pipe finish because it go too often down or off and you need to relight them, or it burned too fast on the end and you can't relight them anymore. And this is to testing the tobacco. It's very easy. Just take the tobacco and breathe through. And should be an easy feeling. There is something, but should also very easy to breathe through. If is this too hard, there is too much tobacco pressed together. And at the same time I say press hard, yes, but it can be too hard. And if this happened, a very easy method is just clean the pipe, take the sharp edge of the wood and scrape out all the tobacco and reload them until you have a good feeling. Before I light now the pipe with the flint and steel, I want to invite you to subscribe to this YouTube channel. I take you with me back in the 18th century. I make a lot of experiments, want to show you how the people have used their tools back in the 18th century, how the settlers of America, the German settlers, have lived in America, and also how the food tastes back then. And one other kind is, of course, this pipe. Subscribe now and let's go and lighting the pipe. For lighting the pipe, I need to prepare a little bit. I need my flint and steel and, very important, shark claw with me and my tool here, what I use for this. And now it's very easy. We need to prepare and make a fire inside. There's two ways. There was very typically, and one way is to take a little bit shark claw, like this, put this on top of the pipe, and then bring the sparks to the pipe. We have here the spark, and now the next step is to push with them the chocolate in the tobacco and breathe to the pipe to make to lightening the tobacco. What I do is gently take a little bit air through the pipe the whole time. The pipe is still on. And now with one step, and that's very important, other tutorials don't explain it like this to you. Many tutorials say, let's take out the pipe and then relight them again. But to bring fire to the pipe and to the tobacco, it's very hard in the 18th century to relight them the whole time. And you have time. If you have started the pipe like this, you can go very slow and gentle with this pipe. And I give you a few tips how to hold the fire in the pipe the whole time. But before I show you the other technique, how to relight the pipe with charcoal. Another way to light up the pipe is to take the stone and lay the charcoal above the stone, like this. And then bring the sparks from the flint and steel, and now you have this burning charcoal, and you can take it and lay this in the pipe and start the fire now, or the pipe with the charcoal now. What you now see is the burning here on the top, and you need to bring them down to the tobacco. There's not burning now. And what many people now do is they just push them down, and then you will kill this fire and you need to relight them. But that you don't do this with the other method, take the flat part, you can also use this flat part, and push them from the side a little bit down. At the same time you breathe the whole time. That's what I'm doing here. You need to try to make it slow and gentle, and then you can take the climbing part that there still is climbing the whole time. And this is not so easy. You need a little bit train it, but if you can do this, you can smoke the whole pipe down until this is finished. And you see the glowing in the pipe here, and this is what I want to still hold the whole time in the middle. And this is what I push from the outside. Every time a little bit and gentle. And I will show you another trick. If you have only a little bit amber back, only a little bit, and you know there's there, but it don't really glue up the whole pipe, then you need to close it up with your hands like this. And take a deep breath in the mouth, not on the lungs. Pipe smoking is only in the mouth. And then you can relight them again, and then you go gentle and push them back again a little bit. And this is really just training. If you smoke a few days every day a pipe and try to train this, and this is very easy. You need to train it a little bit until you really have a control over this a few times, but with every time you learn very fast until you can do a pipe smoking with only one time in flame, and then you can smoke it until the end. And you can go calm down. Pipe needs time. Pipe needs also engagement. You need to concentrate on the pipe. I hold the whole pipe the whole time on flame. The whole video I have make the ember only one time in with the shock claw and still lightning. It's because I have a little bit training, how much I can talk, how I can smoke the pipe, when I need to smoke again. It's just training. But then it is a really fun thing. The wood pipe was not the most common pipe to smoke. There was one pipe more often smoked, and this was a clay pipe. This was a normal pipe for every man in the normal day and life. But how to smoke a clay pipe is different to a wood pipe, and how this functions, this I show you now. Today I show you how to smoke a clay pipe. A clay pipe is nothing special. It is a daily tool, very cheap, only a few cents, and you can buy it in every good sorted store. Other pipes like wood pipes, very expensive, and I have here some native using corn pipes, but I never see one. What I use every day is a clay pipe, and this is very easy to handle, and I show you how. For smoking a clay pipe you need only a few tools. A thumb for the tobacco, your clay pipe, and I will talk a little bit more about the different types of clay pipes and where you find them, and of course the tobacco. I have here my tobacco in this tobacco box, and then of course something to light the tobacco. And I will show you two methods that's very typical that we use for the clay pipes. And last time I show you how to light up a pipe with shock cloth and flint and steel. And this is something the people out in the woods do this, but you never do this in the civilization, in the not of the countryside, in the city, where you have a regular fire everywhere. There you use the technique that I show you today. By the pipes we have two different things. We have the head and this long body, and there's a main difference. One thing is the head. In Europe they're using very small heads. Tobacco is very expensive there, and because of this they have the smaller one. And here in America we deal with bigger heads, and we can put more tobacco inside. And the second thing is the length where you can smoke the pipe. If they're longer, the smoke go colder and the moisture go more out, and it tastes more beautiful. But also the longer the body is, the more easily it go broken. And if you want to find somebody who have a really big pipe or long pipe, you need to go in the coffee house or in a tobacco house or a gentleman's club. There are people, they are very rich, and they like to show they have a really long pipe. Then let's start to pack the pipe, and for this we turning the pipe upside down. This is very important for lighting the pipe. There are two methods that is very typical to use. Every clay pipe is lighted upside down. In pipe houses or good clubs, they will bring you a fresh coals in a clay vessel to light the pipe. Some people have also their own pot at home. And the other control way is to use a candle. In both methods it will be upside down, normally by clay pipes, but never done by wooden or corn pipes, because you don't want to light your pipe only the tobacco. And to start the pipe is very easy. You just take the tobacco and put them like this inside. You need to have a lot of tobacco and then push them in. And then you can see if it holds in the pipe or not. And if you think there is enough inside, you turn the pipe around and give them a try. It should very easy to breathe through the pipe. And you see here, I have my tobacco in and it don't fall out anymore. What I wish is to have his own vessel to light the pipe. But there's no way what I see often, they're having here little feet under the clay pot that they can stand and the ground don't go too hot. But I don't have an open fire here, and for this reason I will use this candle to light the pipe. It's very easy, just hold the pipe in the flame, breathe through, and it is on fire. But now, it's very important to now never touch the head. Not because the pipe go destroyed. If the pipe is on fire a little bit longer, now it is very fresh, they will be very, very hot. And then you burn your fingers. For this reason, the clay pipe is held like this or like this. There is no specific rule, and sometimes you see also clay pipes, they have this head go to the front, and sometimes the people just hold it upside down and you can smoke it like this too, but never touch the head. And the second thing is how to clean and store clay pipes. And before I talk about this, if you like these videos where I show how to live in the 18th century, or the Germans living in the 18th century, they are immigrated in the United States, then share my videos. That can help me. Share it to your friends or on your social media sites, that more and more people can watch this video that I produce here. And now we're talking about the clay pipes. The clay pipes are never cleaned. This is very important. There's only one way, and this is when you can't smoke them anymore, if they are full inside. Never go with something through this little hole. You will break your pipe. How to do this? I will make an own video when I have a pipe ready to be cleaned, and you can clean them very easily. I will show you. Just take out the rest, what is in top on the pipe, just in a pot, and you can take it out with a little stick, something like this. This is the cleaning part, and then the pipe need to rest. This is the same like storing the pipe. They are hand stored everywhere. You need to store them because in the pipe smoking process, the moisture of the tobacco will go in the clay pipe, and this protect make the smoke very dry, but the pipe need a little bit reset. And for this you can lay them anywhere. I hear somebody lay them in a wooden wall, that should help them, but normally you just lay them on the stove or on the window side, or you have a pipe holder. How to make your own clay pipe holder I will show later too, and then let them stand for 2 or 3 days, and then you can reuse the pipe. This is the reason also why many people have several different pipes. They can every time use one pipe and the other can rest a little bit. Imagine this is the beginning of the 19th century, somewhere in the Rocky Mountains. A mountain man far away from the civilization carries everything he needs on his body: a knife, a powder horn, and his gun. But the most of them have something else: a tobacco pouch, worn around the neck, and often the pipe hung from it, always ready and yet well protected. For this man, tobacco was more than just a pleasure. It was trade, it was a gift of friendship, sometimes even a key of social relations, at the rendezvous, in camps, or on the trail. Tobacco was shared, given, traded, something of the everyday life. And in this video, we want to recreate one of these pipe and tobacco holders. A witness of this time wrote in his notes when he described the mountain man: "I had nearly forgotten the pipe holder, which hung around his neck, and generally a gag d'amour and a triumph of a square workmanship in shape of a heart, garnished with bands and porcupine quills. But what did he mean with the expression gaque d'amour? It means, literally translated from the French, a pledge of love. In Europe, it was a small token, a keepsake. In North America, it took on a deeper meaning. A man who wanted to marry an Indian woman had to bring gifts, horses, rifles, blankets, clothes, large offerings that showed respect and sealed the bond with her family. But alongside these great gifts, there were also small personal tokens, and that was the gaque d'amour. Many mountain received finely craftsman pouches from their wives, often heart-shaped, decorated with bands, with porcupine quills. Practical, yes, but also powerful symbol of affection, loyalty and connection. So when we recreate such a pouch today, we are not just copying our object, we are reviving a symbol of love, of bonds between people and of the life of the mountain man. The first question is, which leader is the right leader for this project? And the mountain men or the Native American, they're living in this area, they produce this stuff, sometimes the mountain man by himself, but sometimes the squaw, the wife of them from the native tribe, using every time the leather that is available. And if you look on the mountain men, I have found several different types of leather that was usable. The most common was like elk or deer. I have here deer hide, but also they're using raccoons, beaver, horse leather, sheep or wild sheep leather, and dogs, wolf, cat, everything what was available, a white cat like a puma. And the most common, of course, was the deer leather. This is what I have here, a really white deer leather, not smoked. I have also smoked leather. This is a little bit darker. And I have also found this type of leather, and this is sheep leather. It's also natural tanned, and I will use this today because it is not good for the most other project that I do, and I don't want to put this in the trash. And yes, this is a white leather for this project, but if I have no leather next time, I will buy only deer leather for the most projects. Yes, and this is the rest of the moccasins video, if you have seen this, and I have find out this is not the right leather for moccasins. And yes, we will do a good project with this leather today. In the first step, I cut here out a thick stripe, like a ½ inch thick, and this is important because I want to hang it over my neck later, and if I make it too thin, it don't function. If you make a really thin stripe, you need to make 3 together later. That is strong enough, and I have decided to make only 1 stripe today. It is what I cut out now with this historical reproduction of thither, that I have this stripe later. If I do this not now, maybe with the pattern I cut too close to the line and I don't have the stripe later. This is why it is important to do this now. The stripe is finished, and when I put this on my shoulder, you can see it is a very soft. I like this leather, but it's not exactly the same size the whole way around. It is why I cut it with a scissor, not with a special tool for this, but this should be normal in the mountain. And then I have here the old stripe. You see the difference. And yeah, I like this. And this is our first part. And I put this away for later. And now we go to the leather and starting the main part of this project. It don't exist an exact pattern because there are different variations and everything was handmade. And the most common was like a shape of a heart. And I decided to make it a little bit different today. And I'll show you how I make it. But you can make variations in this, how you want to do this. And the main part, how big it should be, is the pipe. And the clay pipe can different lengths and sizes. And I have also here a pen. This is a typical pen of the 18th century. And I paint around my foundational pattern. This is our main pattern and this is finished. You see this exact of the length of the pipe. And what I have shown you on this video was I have folded over and then cut it that it is like similar on both sides. The other way is to make really a pattern on paper and prepare it. I don't do this on this project because the people back then, they don't use paper to make a pattern. They just produce and cut a little bit more away like I have done this today. And with this pattern we go to the next step. We need a second part for our little project. On the next step of the ladder, I can put this on this small side here. I have used a smaller side because I was thinking I need this big part for the next step, but I can go also here and this is enough. And I lay this in the middle, and this is have two reasons. This is our main part and I throw the line here and I make here a little bit more, and this will be close the back. And at the same time I want to fringe this, and this is why I need here a little bit more. I think I make fringes like, what's this? 2.5 inches long. That yeah, this is what I want to do, and let's see how it will be on the end. And now let's throw it. These are my two parts, and now I need to go the next step. And this is my part to close this bag for the tobacco. And I have the idea, don't use a button, and this is why I make like this. And now I need to make here in the middle a little cut, and through this there should be leather, and also on this downside here that I can close this with a pipe. This is what I want to mark now on both sides. How to let's go here. How to make the leather stripes, and this is what I need to saw first. And the next step is to saw this stripe on the back side here, that I can hang it over my back neck before I close or sew this together. And what I make with the fringe on the end, let's look later this is not interesting in the moment. I finished the first part for the pipe, and I can put the pipe inside. Both, I don't know the English name of them, like this. And I saw this on the back. There is a way to do this between here, but I say I'm a mountain man. I want to do something, but I'm not the perfect leather worker, and this is what I do. The second part is to make the stripe on the second part. I can lay it down here, and I have sewn the first part on this. Then I say I want to have like this high, and now I can go with the stripe around the neck and say this is the right height. And then I can sew the second part on the back. That's important. That I can bear it like this. And the important part is, can I go out? Yes. And now I will sew this. And the main parts are together. It's very important to do this first, also the stripes. If you don't do it, you have it not so easy later to make everything together, because you need to put it out, then sewing, and you have not so much space between. This is why I have done it already. And I have tested, this is perfect. I can lay it here on top, make the pipe inside like this, and it will close my bag. And because everything is together, now I go to the next step, and this different way to sew it. This is not a main rule how to do it. I will use this chisel and make holes inside, and this is a new technique for me. I never worked with a chisel before, and I use this project every time to learn more about a leather craftsman and working, and this project is good for this. But there is not a golden rule how to do this. You can do it like you want to do it. And yes, I go on. I want to finish this project today. On the beginning, I push the first needle through and then I level it. This is in the exact middle. And when it's exact in the middle, I go from the one side and then from the other side and do the whole sewing like this. One side, other side, one side, other side. And with a little bit patience, I sew the whole line around. And on the end, I make it a little bit different. When I go to the last hole, I go 2 times back and then I go with the third stitch only in the middle, and I do this from both sides, and then I have the thread in the middle, and I can make a knot. And what I do, I make a double loop, not a normal double loop. I don't know why I have started to do this like this on every leather work, and I do this here too, and do this 2 times. And the good thing on this type of finishing, you don't see the knot on the end. The sewing is the most patient part, and what I now doing is I cut the sides a little bit more beautiful, but I try to make so much left over that I can do, and then I have beautiful sides, and then I cut the fringe, and with the fringe I cut so close I can do. This is very small fringes. I find out, well, for me it looks better, and then you will see this in the video. Then we have a finished product. And here it is, our Gag d'Amour. More than just a tobacco pouch, it is a true symbol of the mountain man life. To smoke the clay pipe was the most common way to smoke tobacco, but for the gentlemen, they're also using clay pipes, very often very long clay pipes. But the most gentlemanlike was the cigar. And how to smoke a cigar, it's a knowledge, you need to know it. Even if you don't want to smoke a cigar now, but there is only one right way for a gentleman. And how this functions, I show you now. Today, I want to show you how to smoke a cigar like a gentleman. And I think this technique will change over the time and over the years. But why it's so important to know this? You know, I'm a foreigner from Germany and now live in the US. And I love it to be in the high society, in a gentleman's club or a tobacco club. Everything where I can go. But if I start talking, the people realize immediately that I am not for the same society. But if I am quiet and just moving like them and smoking my cigar like them, they don't realize this and accept me like one from them. And for this reason, I show you how to smoke a cigar like a gentleman. The first step is to find the right cigar. And this is easier than you expect. There are so many variation, types and taste. This all doesn't matter. Take what you prefer, what you like, or if you're starting new, take a mild one, doesn't matter of the shape. But what is important, the cigar need to be perfect to smoke. And there can be a mistake. The cigar can to be too much moisture inside or too dry. And both is not good. And how you find it out, you take your cigar, and the most gentleman clubs have his own cigars, and you just take one of them, and then you take it and push it down a little bit. And it should be like a hard gummy, something like this. If the leaf outside is breaking, then it is too dry, and if you can push it too easily, it is too wet. But if it's a little bit between this, then you have the right consistency. In the most places where you can smoke a cigar, you get three things. One thing is a candle, the other thing is an earthen pot, and the third thing is sometimes little wooden sticks or straw that was dipped in animal fat before. And these three things is what you need to light your cigar. And now the most fatal thing that some people do and don't realize that a gentleman never do this with the cigar is to light the cigar in the candle. If you have a clay pipe, it's no problem. For the clay pipe, also in the gentleman's club, it's very typical to light in a candle. But be careful with a cigar. To light the cigar, you have two steps to follow. First, you take one of your sticks, or what you get for lighting, and bring it to burn. And then you go to your cigar and just burning the top of the cigar, that everything it's a little bit darker than before. And remember, you have time to everything slowly and calm. This is how you show you are a gentleman. You are never in a stressy situation. And after the first burning and the top of the cigar is black, now it's the time for the lightning. And you take your second stick, and if you get a long straw, you can everything lightning in once. But I have only these little sticks today. And bring the second stick to light. And now I start to light them at the same time I breathe through the cigar. And you see, the cigar is lighted and not the whole place is on fire. And how I change it, I turn the burning part down and the part that is not burning now on top. And they will go on light immediately. Now there are some rules how to smoke the cigar. The first and most important thing, you have time. Never be rushed through the cigar. It meant, some example, you breathe between 2 and 4 times through the cigar. When you do this, never inhale the smoke. Let them stand in your mouth. This is enough. And then you breathe them out. It is for taste. But why only 2 to 4 times? Because if you do this more often, the tobacco and the burning will be very hot and will destroy the taste, and maybe you get a tongue burning. It's not nice to have it. In my first cigars, I get it. But now I know I need to stay calm. Other thing is, there are different methods to hold the cigar. You see, I hold it like this. You can hold it differently. Maybe you have seen some people hold this differently. Often I take this and like it to hold it like this. There's no specific rule. Decide what you like. Example, people they're making like this have often a big ring and they want to show his big ring too. And I like this because it's like I hold them very softly and gentle. And now enjoying, and then there's the other rule. But first I need to smoke a little bit more of the cigar. One of the most important parts to show that you're a gentleman is how you work with the ash on the top of the cigar. And there are two different methods. The first one and the most gentle is just leave it on your cigar, do nothing, it will fall down by himself. You have servant, they can clean it later. But the other way is to roll this up. You see this, some people there beat their cigar on this earthen pot. Never do this. Immediately everyone will recognize you are not a gentleman. Instead, roll it up like this. Immediately after you put away the ash, take a breath through the cigar. It's important, if you don't do this on waiting a few seconds, there will go out. And this is what you don't want to. You don't want to relight your cigar. This is one thing. It's also like a gentleman. If you light your cigar once, you can hold the whole time. And the most mistake that the cigar got out is because you're talking too much with other people. This is be quiet and relax. But for me, as foreigner, who don't want to talk in a gentleman's club, it's very easy not to talk. I am concentrated the whole time, nearly 1 hour, just on my cigar. Now, there are only 2 rules left how to smoke a cigar like a gentleman. One thing is how long you should smoke a cigar. And this rule is very easy. How long it tastes. And it's important to know, if you smoke a cigar, sometimes, and there can be for the same company, for the same box, it's very different, you can smoke to the end of 1 or 2 inches. But sometimes you can smoke only the first third of a cigar. It's really different, and you will taste it immediately. If you're smoking calm and slowly, from one moment to the other moment, every cigar changes to go a little bit more bitter and sharp and hot. And if you have this feeling in the mouth, you know this cigar is finished. Why it is this? It is like the end of the cigar is like a filter. And the filter some of the stuff out of the smoke. But if it is full, then it will start to burning and you get this in your mouth. But do it like you taste this different. And the last thing is how to kill or stop the burning cigar. And this rule is also very easy. Never tap your cigar down. Put them in water, something else. The cigar is for calming down. A gentleman's tobacco style to smoke. And for this reason, you take your cigar and let them leave. Like this. And then it goes out after a few minutes. And then the cigar is finished. If you're thinking after this video you want to make your own cigar, I have tried it and this was not the best way how to make a cigar. And how I tried to make my first cigar, this is what I show you now. Today I want to make an experiment, something I have never done before. And this is to roll my first own cigar. I do this with my own tobacco that I have produced over the last 2 years. It's a long way to make his own tobacco. How I came to the idea? I read a lot of diaries from mountain men, and the normal mountain men smoke their tobacco through the pipe, and they often wear a gagda mola, something like this, that I have produced for my mountain man outfit. But in one diary I have read a few days ago that he went to a native tribe, and this native tribe don't use pipes. There was different. They roll in tubes or long snakes, and then they smoke the tobacco like this. And when the mountain man saw this, maybe he want to reproduce the cigar like this. And I'm standing here, I have no idea how to roll a cigar. I never done this before. I have no clue how I will do this. I have only the rule. I have my own tobacco, and this knife, and flint and steel later to smoke the cigar. First, I need to harvest a little bit of my fresh fermented tobacco, and this was a long process to have fresh fermented tobacco that is usable. I have tested and trained it for years, and in the first years I never get to the point that I have fermented tobacco. But what takes me 4 years was to find a way how I can ferment the tobacco without losing the leaves that they go barred. The hard thing by making their own tobacco is to ferment them, but at the same time have them soft that they don't go broke and go too crispy. And this is what I have done with these leaves. And now I remove the middle part of every leaf. And some of their leaves are very green, but they're smelling so good. I think this is also ready to be smoked. Yeah, we need to clean up all of them before using. Now we need to find out how to roll them, and I have take one of my most beautiful leaves here, and what I know from tobacco, it need to be take very soft, very close together. This is what I try to do here. I push them, the whole leaf together. I'm not sure that this function. Then we need to redo it like this. This is now the amount of nearly 4 leaves together. But I now want to do is to roll it. Maybe this hold this up. And now I take my beautiful green leaf and take here. But this is also fermented. It's green from the one side and more gray from the other side, or brown from the other side. I want to let everything stay together. Maybe like this. And now I do something you never see modern cigar people do this. I take the inner side of the leaves and bind this together. Be creative. The moldman was very creative, but they have done too. It don't function with this one. I take this one. And let's make it a little bit more beautiful. I would say this is our cigar, and let's try them to smoke. I'm not sure if this function or I redo this, and what I now do, I cut up the end of both, and then I have inside the release and a smoking area. And this is very loose still. Maybe it don't function because this is too loose. Let's try it out. And we started like a mountain man with flint and steel. And a little bit chocolate. The chocolate is burning, and I lay this here on top. Yeah, it's function. Crazy. I don't expect that this function so fast with the first try. And what I see here is very loose together. Maybe it need to be pushed or they are closer together. But for a mountain man, you have no pipe and you want to smoke a little bit tobacco. It's an easy way to do this. My first try of my own tobacco. I want to try them in the pipe, this clay pipe, very soon too. It is an interesting experiment to make your own cigar. Maybe I will try it out later better. I want to read a little bit about this and make it better like this one. But for the first try, I'm happy. If you're a mountain man, you have no clue, you have no idea, and nobody tell you how it functions, you can make it very easy by your own. But I will still prefer to smoke it in a pipe. And if you have now other questions about tobacco in the 18th century, write it down in the comments and I will answer them or make an own video about this topic, and we see us soon in the next video.